Let's start by looking into this topic. Imagine waking up each morning, not with the same routine of familiarity and predictability, but with the anticipation of something new and exciting. Picture yourself starting each day as if you were a child on the verge of a field trip, filled with wonder and curiosity about what the day will bring. This shift in mindset can be transformative, and it all starts with a practice that will open doors to new opportunities and possibilities in your life. You see, the reason many people struggle to get out of bed in the morning is because they are trapped in a cycle of expectation. They predict how their day will go based on past experiences, and this predictability makes their bodies resign to the same old patterns. They may think, oh, another mundane day, and their energy follows suit. But when you were a child and going on a field trip, did you feel this way? No, you were up early, excited and ready for what was to come. This is the mindset we need to adopt every day. When you approach each day with an open mind and a sense of curiosity, you start to break free from the mundane and embrace the unexpected. This is not just about being optimistic. It's about aligning yourself with the energy of potential and possibility. When you wake up with the intention of experiencing something new, you're creating a space for unexpected opportunities to enter your life. This is a practice that can profoundly change how you experience your reality. Let's delve into how this practice works. Throughout your day, take moments to check in with yourself. Are you still in that high-energy state, or have you slipped back into old patterns? If you find yourself drifting away from this positive state, take a moment to realign. This might mean taking a deep breath, resetting your focus, or simply reminding yourself of your intention. The more frequently you do this, the more natural it will become, and the less frustration, impatience, or judgment you will experience. Now consider meditation as a tool for this practice. After meditating, if you get up feeling the same way as when you sat down, then not much has changed. The goal is to feel an elevated sense of self, to have your heart full and your vision clear. This elevated state is crucial because it signifies that you have shifted your energy. The real question is, how long can you maintain this state? When you're in this elevated state, you are broadcasting a new electromagnetic signature. Your thoughts are electric and your feelings are magnetic. What you think and feel is what you broadcast into the field, and this broadcast is what shapes your reality. If you consistently maintain this positive, elevated state, you are effectively broadcasting a new version of yourself into the universe. When you meditate, you are doing something very special. You are taking a break from everything happening around you and focusing on your inner world. This process is like hitting the pause button on your daily life, allowing you to connect deeply with yourself. Imagine your day is full of busy activities, sounds, and people. All these external things can sometimes make you feel overwhelmed or distracted. Meditation is a way to step away from this busyness. When you meditate, you are not thinking about your to-do list or what's happening around you. Instead, you are turning your attention inward. This inward focus helps you connect with a part of yourself that is often hidden or overlooked when you are caught up in daily life. During meditation, you might close your eyes and sit quietly. As you focus inward, you start to notice your own thoughts, feelings, and sensations. This inward journey can make you feel more real and present to yourself. It's like finding a calm, quiet place within you that feels more authentic than the noise and chaos outside. You become more aware of your inner self and your own needs, separate from the external conditions and pressures of the world. Now, after you finish meditating, you open your eyes and return to your daily routine. This is where a big challenge comes in. As you step back into your day, you will likely encounter the same situations and people you faced before. These situations might remind you of past experiences, old habits, or familiar problems. The challenge here is to not react emotionally to these old conditions. Reacting emotionally means letting your feelings control how you respond to these situations. For example, if you have a habit of getting frustrated with certain things, you might find yourself falling back into that frustration when those things happen again. This is because your emotions are connected to your past experiences, and reacting emotionally can make you align yourself with those past feelings. When you react emotionally, it means you are letting your past dictate how you feel and act in the present. It's like being stuck in a loop where you keep reliving the same emotions and reactions. This can prevent you from moving forward and creating the future you want. Instead, after meditating, try to stay connected with the calm and clarity you found during your practice. This means when you face familiar situations or problems, try to respond from a place of inner peace and awareness rather than reacting from old emotions. It's about choosing to respond differently, not letting past habits or feelings control your actions. For example, if you often get annoyed by traffic while driving, try to remember the calm state you felt during meditation. When you find yourself getting irritated, take a deep breath and remind yourself that you can choose a different reaction. Instead of getting upset, you can use the time to stay calm and maybe even listen to a podcast or music you enjoy. This helps you stay aligned with the future you want to create rather than falling back into old patterns. If you find yourself falling back into old patterns, take a moment to realign your energy. This practice of continually resetting and raising your energy will make you less reactive and more in control of your state. You will become less frustrated and more aligned with the person you want to be. In my own life, I've found that the early morning hours are the best time for this kind of practice. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning because it's a time when I can connect deeply with myself before the day begins. Early mornings are a special time when the door between the conscious and subconscious mind is more open. This is when I can work on my intentions and set the tone for my day. In the evening, I reflect on how my day went. I ask myself, how did I do? How did I handle the challenges and opportunities that came my way? This reflection is not about self-criticism, but about understanding and learning. If I reacted in a way I'd rather not have, I think about how I could handle it differently next time. This process of reflection and adjustment is crucial for personal growth. When you visualize your goals and intentions, something amazing happens in your brain. Visualization is like creating a movie in your mind about what you want to achieve. When you do this, your brain starts to change and adapt to match the picture you have in your mind. It's like rewriting your brain's script to align with your new vision. Let's break this down. Your brain isn't just a place where old memories and past experiences are stored. It's also a powerful tool that can help you shape your future. Instead of being stuck in the past, your brain has the ability to create a new path forward. When you visualize something, you're actually using your brain to imagine a future that you want to create. For example, if you want to achieve a specific goal, like getting a new job or improving your health, you can start by creating a clear picture of what that goal looks like. You might imagine yourself in a new job, feeling happy and successful, or picture yourself being healthy and energetic. This mental image is your vision. When you have this clear picture, your brain begins to focus on it. It's like setting a destination on a GPS. Your brain starts to look for ways to get you to that destination. It begins to rewire itself, making connections and changes that align with your vision. Instead of just remembering the past, your brain starts to work towards the future you've imagined. But there's more to it than just having a clear picture. Emotions play a crucial role in this process. When you combine your visualization with strong, positive emotions, you are adding more power to your intention. Emotions are like the fuel that makes your vision come alive. Imagine you're visualizing yourself achieving your goal, but you're also feeling excited, happy, or grateful about it. These positive emotions give your vision more energy. It's like adding a powerful engine to your car. The stronger your emotions, the more your brain and body will align with your vision. You're not just imagining a goal, you're feeling as if it's already happening. This combination of a clear picture and strong emotions helps set the stage for your new reality. It's like building a foundation for a new house. The clearer and more powerful your visualization and emotions are, the stronger your foundation becomes. Over time, this foundation supports the creation of your new reality. Your intention should be more than just a vague idea. It needs to be clear and detailed. For example, if you want a new job, specify what kind of job you want, what benefits you expect, and what kind of environment you want to work in. The clearer your intention, the more effectively your brain can align itself with that goal. Once you have a clear intention, start to live that intention in your mind. Visualize yourself in that job, experiencing all the details as if they are happening now. Your brain does not distinguish between a real experience and an imagined one. By mentally rehearsing the experience, you begin to wire your brain for success. Combining intention with emotion is very important when you want to achieve your goals. Here's why it matters so much. Think of your body as a big, powerful machine that works with your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind is like a storage area where it keeps all the things you've learned, experienced, and felt. It doesn't always think or analyze things like your conscious mind does, but it reacts strongly to feelings and experiences. When you have a goal or intention, such as getting a new job, buying a house, or improving your health, it's essential to not just think about it, but to really feel it. This means you need to combine your clear intention with strong positive emotions. Imagine you have a clear goal. You want to get a new job. You might think about the kind of job you want, where you want to work, and what kind of salary you're aiming for. That's your intention. It's like setting a destination on a map. But if you don't add emotions to this intention, it can be like having a map with no destination. It's not as powerful or effective. Emotions give life to your intentions. When you feel excited, happy, or grateful about achieving your goal, you're adding energy and power to your intention. This is because your body and unconscious mind respond strongly to emotions. They help to make your goal feel more real and attainable. For example, if you want a new job and you think about it with excitement and happiness, you're sending a clear message to your unconscious mind. You're saying, I really want this and I'm ready to receive it. Your body picks up on these feelings and starts to align itself with this intention. It's like giving your goal a boost of energy that makes it more likely to happen. On the other hand, if you think about your goal but feel doubt or negativity, your body and unconscious mind might not be as supportive. It's like trying to push a heavy object with no energy. It's much harder. When you add positive emotions, you're giving yourself more strength and motivation. The more you practice combining your intentions with strong, positive emotions, the easier and more natural it becomes. At first, it might feel a bit awkward or difficult, especially if you're not used to focusing on how you feel. But as you keep doing it, your body and mind will start to get used to it. It will become more natural to feel excited and positive about your goals. Think of it like building a new habit. When you first start exercising, it can be tough, and you might not enjoy it much. But over time, as you keep going, it becomes a part of your routine, and you start to feel better and more comfortable with it. It's the same with combining intention and emotion. The more you practice, the more it becomes a natural part of how you work toward your goals. So, practice this. Wake up with a sense of excitement and possibility. Check in with yourself throughout the day and realign when needed. Reflect on your experiences and adjust your approach as necessary. Visualize your goals with clarity and combine this vision with strong, positive emotions. By integrating these practices into your daily life, you will find that doors begin to open. Opportunities will start to appear where you once saw obstacles. This is not about a one-time change, but about consistently applying these practices. Over time, you will see that your reality shifts and the life you've always wanted becomes your new norm. This practice is not just about achieving specific goals. It's about transforming yourself and aligning with the greater potential that lies within you. Future. Now think about this. You're so connected to the energy of your future, you're no longer looking for it or waiting for it. You feel like it's already happened. The moment you get upset in traffic, the moment you start judging a coworker, you just disconnected from the energy of your future, and now you're back to the energy of your past. Now, if you tell me it was that person that did it to you, I'd say to you, oh, you're back to the unconscious program of being a victim again. So then, the person then goes, oh, when did I fall from that state? When did I lose it? Oh, it happened at 3 o'clock today. The next time that happens, what can I do differently? Now the person's moving through their challenges in their life with coherence, with rhythm. They're starting to begin to make strides, and they're no longer knee-jerking to the people in their life that they've used emotionally to reaffirm their identity. Now this is the work because you look around to see if anybody's doing it and you don't see anybody else doing it. It's kind of this lonely moment where you're realizing that I'm the only one doing this. That's that kind of moment that you realize that nobody understands you but you, right? And you can't even ask your friends for their opinion because they're going to give you their opinion based on their own experiences. And it's that kind of moment where you have to draw in all your resources. So, have you ever heard me say that emotions are bad? Have you? No, emotions are the end product of an experience. So then, do I react in my life? Yep, I do. But the question is, how long are you gonna react? That's the real question. Because if you keep that emotional reaction going on for an extended period of time, sooner or later it'll become your identity. And then people say, why are you so bitter? Why are you so frustrated? Why are you suffering so much? And your brain, in that emotion, you're in the emotion, which means you're in the chemical residue of the past, is going to call up the event because you're emotionally connected to it. And you're going to say, I'm this way because of that past experience. So then imagine what I do with people. We have people that have been abused. We have people that have been traumatized, that have been assaulted. We have people that have had very, very difficult pasts. And have you ever heard me say to revisit the event? Have you ever heard me say that? Never. We need to revisit the event because once you do, you open the box. But what we want to do is overcome the emotion because that's just what's lasting from the event. So you sit a person down, and the moment you sit them down, what do you think the body's going to do? It's going to look for something to recreate that emotion because that's the person's identity. Are you with me still? So if I make the person, if I inspire the person to sit there, and they're sitting there, and all of a sudden they're noticing that they're hot, and they're irritated, and their stomach is twisting, and all of a sudden it's a group of sensations, a group of feelings that they have called all along frustration. But the different sensations, the moment you name it, it becomes an emotion. But what it is just bodily sensations. It's energy that's stuck in the body. So the body is looking to go back to the past. It's believing it's in the past. Are you with me still? So if the person becomes aware that their body is doing that, and like training an animal, allow the body to feel that emotion and then settle it down into the present moment. When you settle it down into the present moment, the body starts to trust the present moment and move out of the past. And there's a release of energy. Then the body goes, wait a second, what's going to happen in the next moment? And it starts doing that. And it starts to try anticipate the future. And you settle the body back down into the present moment. And every time you do that, you're telling the body it's no longer the mind, that you're the mind and your will is getting greater than the program. And all of a sudden, you start to lower the volume to that emotion. And when you begin to break the addiction to that emotion, the side effect of breaking that addiction is called joy. It's called freedom. All of a sudden, the body's saying, I don't want to be tormented anymore. Now, does that mean you shouldn't grieve over things that you lose? Grieving is a biological process. That's why you're saying it. So the subconscious is 95%. So more than likely, your body is going to do exactly what it's programmed to do. So what's the relevance of that? Well, people say, I want wealth, but they're programmed into being unworthy and lacking. So then as they begin to do the meditative work and they start opening their heart, I was just talking to someone yesterday. When you open the center, things are going to sift to the top. All the programs are going to come right up. And when they come up like that, you're going to see why it isn't manifesting in your life. Now, don't see it as like, why is this happening? Did I do something wrong? The subconscious is actually venting. There's a certain period of time in the early mornings where we vent our anxieties, we vent our fears. It's the way the subconscious goes, let's just have this dream and let's just get it over with. So the subconscious is saying, what if you hit the tree? What if you're actually going to hit the tree? You're going to hit the tree because that's exactly the imagery you have when you're trying to create something. You're saying, I really want this because I'm really afraid of dying. I'm really afraid of failure. I'm really afraid of rejection. So the person is subconsciously and unconsciously creating the imagery that's actually being revealed to them. So how do we change that? Well, really simple. We've got to start rehearsing a new way. We've got to start getting into those deep brainwave states, getting beyond the analytical mind, slowing our brainwaves down, getting into the operating system, and start reprogramming. So when this happens, these are the things I'm going to do. These are the things I'm going to do to create that and start rehearsing those steps, priming and reprogramming the brain into a new outcome. So I have had that many, many years in my life, but I always have seen it as a strong sign, a strong symbol that I've got something switched in my brain. I could say that people say I want to be healthy. Yeah, it's 5% of your conscious mind, but you set them at the dinner table and they're breaking all the rules of everything they said. So why does that happen? Because the program is running and they've lost their free will to a program. So now that's important because your subconscious is talking to you. Now you've got to get in there. You've got to get in there and start rehearsing that you're going to step away from the table, that you're not going to eat after a certain hour, that you're going to make better choices and rehearse them and remember what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. Now you begin to, on a fundamental level, begin to rewrite the script, begin to rewrite the program. And over time, if you make one or two new choices and restrain some old choices, you'll tend to make more better choices after you make a few because you'll start feeling the satisfaction of your efforts. I was altered in some way because I lost everything, and I haven't been able to change for the last 2 years. The fact that we can think about how we think, the fact that we can observe how we're acting, the fact that we can pay attention to how we're feeling means we can modify ourselves to do a better job in life. That's called metacognition. So when a person begins to wake up to who they're being, and then they say, like Gandalf on the bridge in Lord of the Rings, you may not pass today, that kind of decision becomes an experience for the person that they never forget. That kind of willingness to change is when they transmute those survival emotions into elevated emotions. And those emotions, because they're addictive and emotions are the record of the past, then for the most part, the body, as the unconscious mind, does not know the difference between an experience in your life that creates an emotion and an emotion that you can fabricate by thought alone. To the body, it's the same. So a person who's living in anger every day or sadness in every day, their body, as their unconscious mind, is believing it's in the same past conditions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The body's in the past. So when a person takes that emotion and literally denatures it and turns it into another emotion, the freedom from that addiction, breaking the chains from that emotional addiction is called self-love, is called joy. Now there's a liberation of energy. The person is in love with themselves, they're in love with their life, and they say, that was so worth it. And all of a sudden they look back at their past and they say, I would never change anything in my past because it brought me to this present moment. And when you can look back at your past that way, then the past rolls up to the present moment, and now you're beginning to experience true freedom. That certain people will not see possibility until they reach crisis, till they reach their lowest level, and then they're going to wake up and say, I better change. I think the greatest demonstration of change really is to begin to show others how to do it, to be the living example of it. That when you and I are the living example of joy, that when we are not attached to what people think or emotions that keep us feeling sick, and we are celebrating life and we are passionate about our future, that we are filled with ideas and inspiration, that's a very contagious state of being. And people that are lost in habits or lost in those emotional states, they will see it initially as an affront. It will be a confronting moment for them. But inside them, they secretly want to be free. They just don't know how to do it. So we always say in our workshops, you always know when someone is in the midst of change because they stop talking about it. They don't talk about it. They're too busy being it. So if you and I are waking up every morning and demonstrating change in our life, the people in our life have one of two choices. They either begin to become inspired by change for themselves, not because you're preaching to them philosophically, but because you're demonstrating it in your life. They'll either rise up to that, or the person cannot maintain a relationship with the person who's living in such freedom, which means they'll probably stay the same for the rest of their life. But if crisis happens, they may make another choice. So my recommendation for people who are steeped in habits and emotional states and patterns of thought, the individuals around them have to live in a state of joy. They have to live in a state of freedom. They have to demonstrate it in every single area of their life. And normally there's a thing in physics called entrainment, which means sooner or later, others start to vibrate at the same rate as you. If you look at this and you study it in history, it's a sign that something new has to be born. As the old model of reality begins to change, something else has to replace it. So we have two ways that we actually face crisis. We can either face crisis in a state of emergency, which in the beginning of a crisis is healthy, or we can face crisis in a state of creativity and innovation. If you're addressing a financial crisis or a crisis in a culture and everybody is selfish and everybody's living by those emotions, then they're pushing their way to get to the head of the line. They're competing. They're forcing outcomes. They're using very primitive systems to try to take care of themselves. We know from the physiology of the brain that most of the blood supply goes to the hindbrain and away from the forebrain. Those chemicals create a gap between the way things appear in our life and the way things really are. In other words, we're viewing reality in an altered state. We don't see possibility. We feel separate from each other. We are competing and striving to get to the head of the line by using our cunning, manipulative, egocentric ways to get there. And we're very controllable. Fear is very controllable. Competition is very controllable. Anger and war divides individuals. Now that is not a way to address a crisis, because the service to self, or taking care of the self, is the exact thing that enhances the crisis. Because if you and I are all doing the same, if we're all doing the same thing, then a culture becomes more divided. It becomes more disintegrated. It becomes more incoherent. And possibility then is not part of the equation. So the other state of mind, if you can view crisis as a great opportunity, brilliantly disguised as an impossible situation, and you have to match the conditions in your environment with a new mind. Now we're talking about greatness, because innovation and creativity and a new way of thinking and a new way of being means that we can't do the same thing from the past. And so in history, cultures that are individuals that overcame their environmental conditions were considered mystics and saints and leaders and charismatic leaders. They were individuals that saw past the illusion of the present reality. When we begin to become innovative or creative, the brain begins to switch. We begin to turn on the forebrain, the frontal lobe, which is really the crowning achievement of the human being, and we begin to ask bigger questions. How can we create a new way of being in a world that's falling apart? How can we begin to create a new system to adapt to these conditions? And I think that people, when they begin to feel empowered by possibility, when they begin to see that the death of the old paradigms means the beginning of a new paradigm. How many people actually believe in the idea that the way you think has some effect on your life? So how many people actually woke up this morning and consciously created a future? You know, the biggest reason why people don't do it is because you don't really believe it's true. You see, if you knew on a gut level that it was absolutely true, would you ever miss a day, and would you ever let any thought slip by your awareness that you didn't want to experience? So your brain, according to neuroscience, is organized to reflect everything you know in your life. Your brain is a record of your environment. It's a record, an artifact of your past. So if you believe this, then does your environment control your thinking, or does your thinking control your environment? So if you wake up in the morning and you get out of bed on the same exact side as you did the day before, you shut the alarm clock off with the same finger, you slip into your favorite slippers, you shuffle into the bathroom and you use the toilet like you always do, then you walk over to the mirror and you look at yourself to remember who you are, then you get into the shower and you wash yourself in the same routine way, then you groom yourself to look like everybody expects you to look, then you go downstairs and you drink coffee out of your favorite mug. Then you drive to work the same way as you did the day before. You see the same people that push the same emotional buttons. You do the exact thing that you know how to do, and you memorize and can do so well that you're an expert at. Then you hurry up and rush home so you can hurry up and check your emails, so you can hurry up and go to bed, so you can hurry up and do it all over again. Now here's my question. Did your brain change at all that day? We could say that you were thinking the same thoughts, performing the same actions that create the same experiences, that produce the same emotions, but secretly expecting something to change in your life.